Welcome to my educational channel. So today, as highlighted, we are going to be discussing how to reference appropriately using Endnote. Endnote has been a software that has been around for some time now, but if you know how to use it, it will help you in your professional work to be able to reference very well academic-wise. So that's all what this tutorial is about today. So to begin with, there are some softwares that you need to take note. First, Microsoft Office, preferably 365. Then secondly, the Endnote software itself. There's a free version and there's a paid version. But as you all know, paid version comes with lots of features. But if you are schooling in the UK, you could get Endnote, the full version, that is the purchase version, for free from your school. And also, last but not the least, is Google Chrome. That is the browser I recommend for this tutorial because it has a built-in add-on that later on, if you happen to know how to use it, it will make your work very easy for you. So if you have all these softwares installed and set up, then you are ready to success. So let's begin the whole process. So first of all, I will introduce you to something that we call a search engine. So you've heard of Google before. Google is a search engine, by a general search engine. In the academic world, we have various search engines just like Google that you go through. A typical example is Google Scholar. So we also have PubMed, we have Cochrane Library, then we have Sinal. So there are a lot of them. So as you keep on progressing in your academic world, you'll build something like a muscle memory and you know where to go, each database to go to whenever you're looking for a particular resource. So let's get practical and let's test something. So let's say, for instance, you want to research on something. Maybe you want to research on e-waste. And with the e-waste, maybe you want to research in a particular country, or let's say in a particular continent like Africa. Let's see how you could go about it. So first of all, we'll be using more of Google Scholar for what we're doing here. You could also try your hands on any of the database or that are around. Which one you prefer is all good, but follow the same method. So this is how Google Scholar looks like. So at a glance, let's type something like e-waste, which is the main thing of our topic, e-waste. And let's click on search and let's see what pops up. A lot of things pop up. And we can continue our search by adding the continent that we wanted to research on. So e-waste in Africa. Let's see what pops up again. Wow, a lot of stuff. What it means is e-waste in Africa that we type will bring something that contains e-waste or headings or topics that contains e-waste in Africa. So various journals and various articles that have been uploaded on that database that contains e-waste in Africa. So I'll bring it to us. So if you look at our results, it's 17,000 results were highlighted. Wow, that's nice. And we can limit our search by limiting or filtering using something we call filters. And one manual filter that I'll show you now is Boolean operators, the use of Boolean operators. So there's a typical example of how it is. And when you do the Boolean operator, you can use like and or. As you progress in academic career, you know a lot of Boolean operators and how to use them. And there are some databases, they manually give you the Boolean operator, so you don't have to be doing what I'm doing right now for you to see. A typical example is using iFind. iFind will make it more easier than Google Scholar, where you have to do them manually. So when you do the end, look, it gave us the results that it gave us, it reduced and all. And when we do just end, and when we do just all, look at what will also pop up. So I hope you get a point. So by deciding to type the e-waste together without bringing any hyphen, let's see what happens. E-waste in Africa without any hyphen brought about 2,700,000 results. So meaning some of the headings have just even typed them together without any hyphen. So it all depends on your search strategy. How you intend to go about the search depends on what will pop up. So with respect to the filter that you can see on your left pane, it is always advisable to use reviewed articles. So whenever you are researching for articles, make sure they are review articles. Those ones are trusted ones. It have stood the test of time, and it have stood the test of certain criticisms and of the academic world. And you can do that by just clicking on review articles in that section. Immediately we click on the review articles, it was our search was reduced. The results was reduced. We could also custom the range, that is the exact date that you should give us from. So it's always advisable to go 5 years backwards from whenever you are doing a research. So you could go 5 years backwards. So 5 years backwards, we could get something like 2017 to 2022. And it will just change the dates. And you could just see the date that is taken from. And you realize you've seen something that you think that is what you're looking for ahead, and maybe corresponds to what you're searching for or what you're researching on. You just right click and open in a new tab. Then you read the abstract or the summary of it to find out and see if it actually conforms to whatever you want. So you take a quick glance at it, or you skim through it. Or let's say the second one is what you thought it was okay for you. So it's the same thing. You could just right click, go to the next page, and look at it and see if the next tab, and see if you skim through it just like you did with the first one. We go through the abstract, the topic, and everything. So the first skimming through is just about skimming through headings or titles. When you're okay with a specific title, you open in a new tab and you skim through the abstract to see if the abstract is actually whatever you want, the information you're looking for can be found in that particular research article before you go through the exact research material. So with this, I know when given the opportunity or whilst following through this video, now you know how to use Google Scholar. With PubMed, Cochrane, the other databases, you could try your hands on later on and find out and see. That's the sense of learning. So that you could find out and see if you could do them yourself. All the best. Now let's continue. Let's go back to our Word document and let's have a look. So if you remember, whilst we were starting the softwares, we said Microsoft Office. We mentioned Endnote. It is always advisable to install the Microsoft Office first before you install the Endnote. But then with the Microsoft Office, I always prefer the 365 because it has an editor which can help you more like skim through for errors and all those things, gives you a similarity score and all those things. I see it to be very useful, so I prefer Microsoft 365 to the various versions of Microsoft Office. That doesn't mean you cannot use the various versions. You can. With the Endnote, also, just as I said, you could get it for free. If you are schooling in the UK, you could get it on your school's website for free. So, immediately that you install your Microsoft Office 365, then you install your Endnote. So, when you install the Endnote, after installing it, will ask you to close your Microsoft Office. So, when you reopen it, you see that a new tab has been added to your Microsoft 365. And just as it's highlighted, you could see the new tab. That is the Endnote 20. The 20 then means the version of Endnote. So let's click on it and let's see something. So this is how it opens. So we need to make a few settings in here. You go to the style section, then you choose the referencing style. So this is the style section. You go there, then you choose the referencing style of your choice. When you click on the style, you realize there are a lot of referencing styles. But most schools in the UK use the APA 7th generation. But if you have any referencing style of your choice, you just go ahead and choose it. In terms of the referencing style, the more you use a particular referencing style, it gets to a point, whenever you see it, you don't have to confirm and find out whether it's even an error. You could just tell by looking at it how it is to tell. So it's more like you build a muscle memory for your particular referencing style of your choice. But with this tutorial, we'll be focusing more on 7th generation, APA 7th generation. You'll realize when after installing Endnote, in the Endnote section, you realize it is annotated that is there. So you need to go there and change it to maybe your APA 7th generation. If you want any different referencing style, you could just click on select referencing styles, then you choose from the list any of your. There are a lot of them, so whichever you want to use, then you could choose it as ever you want it. There are referencing styles like the Harvard referencing style, which is also a common referencing style. There are other ones, there are a lot of them. So whichever one you prefer, you could just use it. But just as I highlighted earlier, the referencing style I'll be using is APA 7th generation. So you could just set it around APA 7th generation so that you can follow along as we go. Now that we've done that, now let's move on to our software itself, the Endnote. So after installing Endnote, that is how Endnote looks like. So there are two different ways of using Endnote. So you could use it as an offline version and you could use it as an online version. But in this tutorial, I'll cover how to use it as an offline version. With the online version, you need to create an account with Endnote before you could use the online version of it. So this is what we need to do now. So first of all, you go to File, you go to New, then you create a library for it. So the library could be of any name. And you choose a location where you want to save your Endnote library. So there are some people who, based on what they are doing, with every research that they do, they give it a new library. So it's up to you. You could use that method, or I could show you a different method here, where under the group section, they create names for each individual library that they have. And one good thing about creating a library is after you've created a library, whenever you are transporting your references, you could just transport the library file to a different computer and just open it through that computer to get access to your references. It's as simple as that. I've already created a library. Then this is the library I created for this tutorial. So this is how, after setting it up, this is how it looks like. And let's go back to what we were doing previously. So let's go back to our browser, our Google Chrome. So there are so many ways we could reference the two different articles that we highlighted, the two different journals we highlighted. There are so many ways we can reference them. So let's go to the first one, Public Health Burden of E-Waste in Africa. And let's see how best we can reference it using Endnote. So first of all, this is it. So all what we'll be doing is we click on Site, then we click on Endnote. So whenever after clicking on the Endnote, it will either download it, or if you have your Endnote open already, it may open directly into your Endnote software or Endnote application. So if it doesn't open, you just look for the file location and you double click or you right click and it will open through the app. That is the Endnote software. It's the same thing. So when you open through the Endnote software, this is how it looks like. Yeah, so there's it. So you see it's opening directly because I've been using it over and over again. It's open directly through my Endnote app. So when you go to imported references, you see the reference there, and this is it. So these are the authors, yeah, the title, just as you can see. Now let's go to the second one too. So this is the second one I wanted to use too in this tutorial in this way. So let's go to Site, the same method. We go to Endnote. Just as you saw it, it will open directly, and that is it. So when you check now, it shows 2 references imported. So all references are now 2. So as a guide, I will always like you to check. With this method, at times, it doesn't import the DOI. The DOI serves as a direct link to the particular reference that has been imported. So to be able to see, just click on the reference. Then you go to Edit. Edit is on your right upper. There's it. You click on Edit. Then you check the DOI, whether it has been imported alongside. If it's not been imported, just copy the DOI number and just paste it there, and it will do the rest for you. So always make sure it's just the DOI number and not nothing else. So after importing, you see you imported the HTTP of it, those things. So you just have to delete it and let the DOI number just remain, and just click on Save. That's it. We are done. Our referencing is complete, but our work is not done. The best part is yet to come. So Endnote is so smart that it will tell you the kind of article that has been imported, whether it's a journal article, whether it's a book, or whether it's something else. It will tell you. The next thing I will show you is how to group your references. So either you choose to save each reference work that you are doing as a library, or you could use this method. So you go to the group section, Then you first click on create a group set. Then you can give your group set a name. So the name can be e-waste. Or you could name it according to, if it has to do with schoolwork, you could name it according to the model you're doing. Because one thing is, if you don't arrange them properly, it'll get to a point you have lots of references and you find it difficult searching for a particular reference that you've used before. But if you create a group set, then under the group set, you can create individual references. You could do so you could create a group under a group set. So a group like introduction can come under it. And with that introduction, all references that forms part of your introduction in a particular work can fall under that reference. You can make it something like a body, and everything that forms part of your body could just fall under it. Another thing that you could also do is you could also create a smart group. And creating a smart group is a bit easier because it filters all the titles and search for particular word that you are using to group under, for them to arrange all the references in terms of the title under it. So that's what I mean. So let's say I want to create a group set. I could just click on e-waste, and by clicking on e-waste, I just type in the e-waste. When I type in the e-waste, then I click on for it to search for the group set for the smart group. So what it will do is it will filter and bring all the titles with e-waste and make them a group for me, just as you are seeing here. With the other ones that we created, the smaller groups that we created, what we can do is you could just be dragging them, the references you have, drag them manually to a particular group. You can drag them manually to a particular group, just as you see me doing right now. So, whatever works best for you, you could use it. Sorting your references will help your future self to be able to locate a particular reference whenever you are looking for it. It may come in handy in the future. Now, let's go back to the main thing. So, whilst doing a master's program or an academic work, it is assumed that, especially in a master's program, that you are not an authority. So if you are not an authority, it is assumed you can't quote yourself when making a claim and when saying something. So whatever you say, whatever you do, you need to quote a reference for it. So whenever you make a claim, whenever you say something, where did you get that knowledge from? You need to quote. And in trying to quote a reference, you don't have to copy and paste what is in a reference. You need to paraphrase whatever you are saying. So let's go to our work, for instance. Let's say they were the title Public Health Burden of E-Waste in Africa. Another background says environmental impact from informal e-waste recycling increase in Africa. How did I know that it's increasing in Africa? It's because of what is there. I got to know that it's increasing in Africa from what the author said. So if I want to make a claim that e-waste is increasing in Africa, who said it? I need to reference them. And this is the author, or Rich Eberry, or Risaki, and all those authors. I need to reference them so that someone will know that, oh, I'm not an authority, I'm not the one who said it, but rather I'm making that claim from a particular source. Just as I said, so you got that knowledge from the authors that e-waste is increasing in Africa. So let's see how we go about it. Let's type something on our word now. So e-waste is on the rise in Africa. You bring a full stop. To reference this, just bring your cursor back a bit after the full stop, before the full stop. So you bring it back. Then you go to your Endnote tab. Now, in trying to locate the exact reference, you can either use the heading or you can use any of the names of the authors to search for it, the reference. So, just as I said, you go to your Endnote tab on your Microsoft Office. Then you click on Insert Citation. So after clicking on Insert Citation, then under Find Citation column, that is the search bar there, you search for, you can just, so if you're using the title, you can type Public Health. Then we click on Search. Immediately click on Search, it pops up. Or we could also do it this way. One of the author's name is Orisakwe. So we could also type one of the author's name there and click on search. Then it will refine it and bring what the author has said. So any research paper that the author has said that you have on your Endnote library to bring them up. So it's only one, which is the one we are looking for. And that is it. So it pops up now. Then you click on it. Then you click on insert. Immediately you do that, it automatically do the inter citation for you. Then it will bring the main reference at the bottom for you also. So all what you have to do is to give it a title, the down, just like you see me doing, and that will be your main reference. Any other reference that you add in your work will continue. And one good thing about this is as you keep on adding, it will be rearranging them in alphabetical order for you. With a style, immediately you switch the style to a different style, it will format all your references into the new style that you've chosen for you. It makes the work very easy. Now, let's try the second one also and let's see. So with the second one also, using the same method, we are already in the Endnote tab, so you go to insert citation. But before that, let's try and see if you could get something from the second one and also paraphrase the content from it and paraphrase and use it as our second one. So we could say something like, okay, e-waste consists of used and discarded electronic material. Let's type that. E-waste consists of used and discarded electronic material. Then using the same method, after the full stop, then you come back a bit, you put your cursor there, then you enter space, you click on insert citation. Then either you type something from the title or an author's name to search for it. And this, when you click on search, just as something pops up, then you choose the exact reference you're looking for. Then you click on insert. As you see, it will continue from below. Because the new reference, the author begins with L and the older one begins with O. You see, it has automatically reformatted itself, and that one is rather beginning. Yeah, so that is what I was talking about. So it will format it, and that is what APA 7 generation is all about. It will rearrange it in alphabetical order. It will format everything for you. All what you have to do is to give it a heading, references. You are good to go. So with Endnote, referencing shouldn't be a problem for you. It should be a bonus. Any marks that you are deemed fit for and referencing should be a bonus for you. You shouldn't struggle with it at all. Also, if you want to make your referencing to begin with an author, then into brackets a year, maybe you come across it a lot in certain works or certain reference materials. Let's say you want to use those style. So all what you have to do is, let's say we've typed something, e-waste is. All what you have to do is you go to the edit and manage citation section. Edit and manage citation section. You click on it. So before you go to the edit and manage citation, let's go through the normal route. Let's insert a citation. So you insert the citation you want to do. So let's say according to, then you insert the citation. Just as you see me doing, I will insert the citation. Then after inserting the citation, then I'll click on it once to highlight the citation. Go to edit and manage. Then you choose, you see, it's under default, so I'll change it to author year. Then automatically it will format that particular citation for me to the author year, just as you've seen it. Then you continue, e-waste is. So just try your hands around it. It's very easy, it's very simple. You should be able to do it. Now, the last thing I'll show you to bring everything to a close is how to reference a website. So there are times you may be searching something and you come across specific website, maybe WHO website, and there's something that you want to reference. How do you go about it? So let's go to the WHO website and let's see how you can go about that one also. So you go to the WHO website. Then when you are there, let's go to a specific health topic and let's see. Let's say the health topic of interest to us is air pollution. Let's say you want to reference something on it. How do you go about it? This is how you do it. So with air pollution, that is what we want to reference. We've seen something here we want to reference, but because it's on this website, but our same mentality, with our same idea that we can't be an author in quotes from ourselves, and we need to reference something, because where did we get the knowledge that we are seeing now? The data is from WHO website, so you want to reference them appropriately. So what I'll do is I will have to go to references, new reference, and it will open just as you are seeing on my screen now. So it has the things that you should take note is author, year, title, and URL. And please remember to change the reference type to web page. Automatically it may be on article or on journal, but remember to change it to web page. So when you've done that, the author will be World Health Organization or WHO, whichever you want to do it. The year, and with the year, sometimes depending on the website you are referencing for, maybe if someone who've written it, the author name will be there. So if the author name is there, then at the author section, put the author's name there. And the publisher could be the website's name instead. But if there is no author name, then the author automatically becomes the website name, which is World Health Organization. Then please remember to put comma at the end. Very, very important. Then the year will be 2022. The year which is 2022, we came across it because if there is no year on it, use the copyright year. So when you scroll downwards, you see the copyright year is 2022. So use that one instead. Then the title, air pollution. Then you copy the URL link and you paste it at the URL section. After that, you just click on save, and that's it. You're all done. Let's see if you choose not to bring the comma at the end of the author. Let's see what will happen. Endnote, because it's a software and it's not a human being, it will predict that the organization is rather the last name. And it will not see the World Health Organization as it's something that is together. So it will just reference it just like this. Organization and year, without bringing the rest, which will make your reference wrong. So it's always good to remember to bring comma at the end. Bringing comma at the end will help you see that it is a word that is together, and as such, it needs to bring all of them together, as you are seeing in this reference below on the screen now. I hope it's clear. It is very simple. You should be able to do it. Everyone can do it. And I'm taking my time to explain everything in depth so that it will make referencing very easy and suitable for everyone who wants to reference or use it as an academic work or professional wise. So now let's try and insert it and let's see what will happen now. So we could use the same format. You go to your Endnote tab, insert citation, then let's search the World Health Organization. It pops up. You click on insert. You see, it has arranged it in an alphabetical order and it has arranged it below for us with World Health Organization. So it's as simple as that. I hope this tutorial has been helpful, and please remember to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll bring you more videos next time.